Why does the action figure community have such a hard time being honest about the products we buy? I see so many flashy, hype posing videos ignoring the issues, and then the figure, when you get it in hand, falls apart. Literally. This Leonardo, as cool as it is, and believe me, this is freaking cool. You got the magnetic rocket board thing, you got the slashy sword, the mask. This thing is freaking awesome, but it has significant issues that you can't just wash over with cool poses. And I've seen a lot of people doing that. I've seen a lot of people post really cool pose videos, but I know you've had so many issues and you're not talking about them, and that's the biggest problem in the action figure community. You're just making free puff piece ads that ignore the glaring problems with figures. Like, this is cool. I get it. You want to show off how cool this guy is. He's doing kicks. He's riding his skateboard. But goddamn, he's got some issues. Let's dig into it. At $160, we're talking about the Heatboys Hefig Leonardo 1/9 scale action figure. It starts off pretty premium. Box, corner protectors, bubble wrap, the whole deal. It's some pretty cool packaging, all wrapped up, all sleek, black, some nice artwork. If you got the deluxe version, it's actually 2 boxes in one. You have the standard off to the side, then a box for all the deluxe accessories, and what's really cool, the wrapping on the box is actually this backdrop for a diorama piece, some kind of feudal Japan in the moonlight, so that's really cool. You can display it with your action figures, photography, poses. Nice. The standard version at $120, pretty stacked out. The deluxe version at $160, even better, even more goodies. You probably best know Heatboys from their amazing mecha heat line. That's right, turtle robots, turtle Gundams, whatever you want to call them. These figures, die-cast metal, absolutely stellar, each one cooler, more spectacular than the next. I freaking love this line. So taking that company and making a regular action figure should be a lock, right? Well, they did make an absolutely banger figure. I mean, look at this guy. That's freaking cool. No matter how you slice it, this is a cool freaking action figure, and I love it, and it's worth having. But, they kind of fucked a lot of things up. Holy crap, the glue. I've never had such a bad glue job in so many areas on a figure. It's ridiculous. So many parts on mine are coming unglued. You might not have all of them, maybe just 1 or 2, but you can rest assured as you're noodling things around, if you don't like these side armor pieces, they'll probably come unglued eventually. Yeah, you're gonna need some glue. I think this brand is good, but more on that later. I want to talk about the stand. The stand should have been a lock, but it's freaking terrible. Heatboys knows how to make stands. The mechs all have fantastic stands. They're sturdy, they're solid, the metal piece connects into the base of the stand, it's one whole piece, it has little storage, right? It's fantastic, awesome. This stand is fucking terrible. The cool magnetic part I like. That's kind of neato. That's solid. Like, you put his feet on there, and it doesn't, like, super hold him, but, like, for most things, like, it's pretty good. The magnets work, right? The bendy arm, this is a big, thick, beefy-ass bendy arm, right? But why in the hell did they make this part detach? What the fuck? This is the weakest, shittiest connection. Any kind of weight makes it disconnect from the base. And you might be stupid like me and kind of like maneuvering it around, using the bendy arm while it's plugged in. I started to like break it off from the plastic thing, right? So I have other corners or sides I can use, but this thing sucks. The bendy arm, great. The little fucking grabber thing could not be shittier or flimsier. You can tighten the screws and make it work, but what the fuck is this? This is the most unreliable piece of shit. You can make it work though. Even as a flight stand, you can make it work, make it hold the weight of the figure, but goddamn, you're gonna be struggling with this fucking thing. You can also use the bendy arm to support some other poses. So maybe you get him in a stance that's a little shaky, a little uneven. You can hook it on the shell and help you out. Putting it on the stand, the magnetic feature, I think is really cool. It's not super strong, but it's strong enough that kind of as like a foot peggish replacement stand, it works really good and you can put it on your shelf and have some more security. They did a good job there, but they should have just went a lot further, made a lot beefier of a stand, because you put this thing on there, you're doing a cool pose, eventually that shit's gonna fall off. After a fall that's likely to happen from your stand, you'll discover some of the parts will have come unglued. So here's the little, like, wakizashi belt loop thing. Mine, I don't know if this was ever glued, to be honest, or if it was just pegged in there. Yeah, I can glue it back. I don't know, maybe it's better to leave it open so the other side doesn't rip out. But what the fuck is this? What is this? So yeah, be super careful with the stand. Whoever thought it was a good idea to have the bendy arm gripper removable, dumb idea. Whew, onto the harness we go. This freaking harness. Almost no matter what you do, this little harness piece is gonna come off. It's a crappy little peg that may or may not be glued in there. Mine was barely glued in there, if at all. And they thought for some reason, with all of that weak connection, it would be a good idea to make you like jam the scabbards in yourself. I get like you could do like a cool like scabbard holding pose or whatever, but then you have to maneuver this shit around and just wedge this shit in there because it's very tight, right? Like, give me 2 fucking scabbards, okay? Give me extra scabbards. By the time you wedge this shit in there, if you haven't disconnected this part from the main harness, you're some kind of fucking god, right? Because all the finagling you're going to do, that's going to come loose. You can peg it back in, and you're sure as fuck going to need to glue it, but this is the worst goddamn connection. What the fuck are you thinking? There's so much going on here resting on this tiny little peg. The weight of the swords and the scabbard, everything, and they gave it the shittiest little peg there. Fucking insanity. This is something Lingjihun did better, right? You get 2 scabbards, right? You want like the cross one goes on the back, or you want like a crazy one to do like the scabbard holding things. 2 scabbards. Right? You're going to be pulling this shit out of there to do like a scabbard holding pose. You have like scabbard holding hands, so they clearly freaking intended it, right? Like you're going to do shit like that. No, you're going to fuck this up. Lingjihun, what they did, the harness, it's a much simpler harness. It still rides up. It's still annoying, but it pegs into the shell. Right? There's a simple shell peg on the back, and sure, it does leave like an unsightly hole if you don't like that, right? But you have a peg to fill it, and then if you want to put in the scabbard, you fish it around. It can be a little annoying. There you go, like that. You want like a different scabbard look, it's just a fucking peg. Do a peg. I don't know why Lingjihun can easily figure it out, and Heatboys couldn't, right? The harness system, right? So this part that comes off, that's a whole thing, right? The harness, the way it attaches, you have this shell piece, like the scoot, right? You see how that's like wide open, nothing in there. The harness, it rides up. It's annoying when you get it on there. It's kind of a cool look. I get it, but I don't think it fits super well. But the way it attaches, and I just knocked some of the fucking kunai loose. The way it attaches is the scoot piece here, right? So you have that there, that goes on the back, and mine attaches fine. Not everyone is going to be like that, right? So let's take off this freako harness like he's a little kid taking off his shirt. Like, this is such a... I'm probably going to, like, unglue or break other parts of this thing, right? There goes the fucking head that's not glued properly. But it's like, this shit, whoever thought this is a fucking annoying, horrendous design, right? So there you go. See, look, there's the scoot in the back. There's the connection, how it should work. The normal piece goes on there. Cool, you have like a seamless shell, right? Okay. If you want to plug in the harness, instead of doing, again, this is a simple straight peg action. Everyone knows how pegs work. They decided to put all this complicated mess, which you're going to be moving around. Probably with all your struggling, you're going to unglue these parts. There's a harness piece here, and you can see mine does have like a weird, like blobby extrusion, extra plastic. Some people's is like really messing up the fit. They have a lot more. It doesn't come in there, like it can't peg onto the back. Mine, I guess the blob is there just barely enough where it doesn't cause any problems, right? So I can without like finagling the harness again, I can peg it in just fine, right? Some folks, you can't even do that. So you go for all the freaking trouble of putting his goddamn arms through this thing. Like, it's not even that cool a look that it's worth doing this, right? Just, I wouldn't have minded if they would have just included that shit by default and make it not removable. Like, it's just an overcomplicated, ridiculous mess, right? So there's your harness look. Where's his freaking head? Let me put that back on. Like, it's just a nightmare. That's the other thing, right? So you'll struggle with the harness. Hopefully you all have good fits. I just dropped out the magnet. You peg that on there, and it's weak and flimsy, super overcomplicated. Did the magnet fucking go out? God, I lost the fucking magnet. Hold on! Okay, I found it. I found the stupid fucking magnet piece. Because it's apparently the whole housing just isn't glued, right? And, like, I don't know if it's just a rush job. Maybe somebody forgot, but I've seen other people the same freaking thing. So it's like this piece... It does key into the head, you know? So, like, once you do get glue, it won't be that hard to put back in there. But what the fuck is this, right? Like, so, as you're swapping heads, that's very likely to happen. Let's put on... I think this is one of the bonus heads. The head swaps themselves aren't bad. It's just like the double ball peg. You just put it on there, and it's fine. This one, I don't know, is it glued? Is it just like friction fit? What the fuck, man? Speaking of the heads, the bandanas are fucking terrible. They have like a really thick, stubby peg, and the fit among the heads is fucking terrible. Some of them it goes in easier, but it doesn't stay in there, and it's such like a little piece. I've heard people trying to like maneuver it around, and they like tear it off. This sucks. This sucks. The masthead, which is super cool, like the hole is slightly too small or whatever, and like you're gonna have a hell of a time. People are saying like heat it up. That's fine, but switching the goddamn bandanas shouldn't be so fucking hard. Just give me default, give me heads that all have bandanas on them. I don't even care about switching them. Mold them however you want, put them whatever direction. Swapping bandanas on these goddamn things is a chore. I can't even say bandana anymore. I fucking hate this. The skateboard. The skateboard is kind of a real piece of shit. So it's mostly all plastic, right? It has like the light on the front is pretty cool. The wheels, kind of rickety, right? Like I've heard some people, their wheels don't like touch all the ground, which I don't really mind myself. But, you know, you would have hoped for like a big cool metal skateboard. It does have like, it has two magnets on kind of the ends, usually about where the trunks are. Right? And you can skateboard him around. So you can do like the cool skateboardy poses. Good luck with the fucking stand. But you know, like you can do, like you bend his legs back. You do some crunches. I'm not a skateboarder, right? But it's kind of like, hold on. You know, you have the hand back there. You're doing like, you're tricking shit out. That's super fun. Right? It has the flames. The flames are super cool. They painted like the flame exhaust thing. You just peg those babies in. Sick as hell. What the fuck is this? Why? What? Like again, another spot to glue. Like it fits in there fine, I guess. But it's just like, and this was immediate, right? Like. Like, on his foot, there's a QC sticker to just, like, fucking laugh in your face. I don't even know what QC means, right? Like, whoever was checking these obviously didn't do any kind of testing to see, like, hey, how good is the fucking glue? I think that's all the issues I've ran into with this figure, right? There's a lot, mostly glue issues. I might be forgetting some, but I think I covered all of them. Some folks might have all of these issues. They might have just one or two glue areas. I've heard some people say they had no issues. You're very lucky, because messing around with this thing, the way the glue works, you're very likely to have something come unglued. So you're going to need that super glue, that rubber cement, whatever you think is best. I'm going to try out the rubber cement. But yeah, you shouldn't have to glue it up for $160, right? And we are counting shipping. We're not lunatic Mondo fans that, you know, oh, shipping doesn't count in the price. It absolutely does. This is a $160 deluxe figure. But if you go on to, like, Bombas B, for instance, has excellent after-sales service. So if you go onto their website, scroll through the listings, at the very bottom there's a link for after sales. If you click on that, it's a form to fill out, your order number, describe the issue. Also, you're going to take pictures and you're going to circle any issue in red as they show you some examples, and then that way they'll go through, evaluate it, and they can replace parts. In the past, I've had an issue with one of their other mechs, not even a turtle mech, but there was like a bad arm. I filled out that form, I circled it, and they sent me a replacement arm. So they're really good about replacing things. If you ordered from another retailer, you'll probably have to talk to them first, and they'll direct you what to do. But there is hope for after sales, because this is a banger figure. You shouldn't just have to eat it and accept bad quality or whatever. Go for after sales and ask for some replacements. Now, let's get in. After all of that, now you're very well informed about the figure and its flaws. Let's look at the articulation, a place where this figure really, really shines. You can see already, like, look at that. There goes the harness. Look at that, like, kind of pose, like, the crunchiness he's able to do. Like, this is where this figure is delivering what we wanted it to. The articulation and mechanics on this guy are just fantastic. Buttery smooth. You can easily hit all kinds of natural crunching poses. This is the best turtle in terms of articulation. The lingjihun turtle, he's pretty good. He can get pretty close, but you can see there's just certain tweaks, certain little bits where he just can't hit the same kind of range as this guy, right? See, like, look at the feet, look at the knees, look at the arms. It's close. Like, lingjihun is fantastic. It's good enough articulation for most people, but if you want the next level upgrade, you're going with something like Heatboys did here. And here's another example. Like Heatboys, the splits, very similar, but look at the arm action where they cross over with those butterflies and how deep down it can go. The lingjihun, his arms just can't cross that good. They can't hit that cross pose down below his legs. If you move the arms up, you can start to hit it, and you can kind of like fudge it when you have to bend the arms a little bit more. And then so he's doing it up there. That's pretty good. You can move the arms down a little bit, and they have to start curving, but it's kind of strained. It's kind of forced. The Heatboys Leo just much more naturally and easily hits it. You know, I'm only limited by my own creativity. The figure can do a lot more than you would think. Now, lingjihun, I'm not really here to say which one is better. I think there's room for both. I think they're awesome. The lingjihun is just kind of a different kind of turtle. He's much more wooden, right? He can't get as deep as, like, the leg or elbow crunches, right? Like, Heatboys, you can, like, fold those legs like a pretzel and do all sorts of crazy stuff. Do you need that much articulation? That's up to you, but there's a lot of fun to be had. Posers, I think, are going to be having a hell of a good time with this figure, right? Like, I don't pride myself on posing. I don't get too far into posing, but shit like this is just effortlessly cool, and I think he does beat out the lingjihun. Now, this is where we ran into an issue. I posed him enough, moved the legs around enough that I did pop off the freaking skirt thing. If you hate the skirts, good news. You can easily wear them away and pop them out. But if you like the skirts to be connected, yeah, if you're utilizing that leg range, it's going to be a problem and pop them out. But just, this is so freaking cool. I love that you can just hit this pose easily. Again, not that, like, the lingjihun couldn't be forced into these poses, but Heatboys hits it so naturally and so effortlessly. It's just wild. I love this figure. Even for all its flaws, this kind of articulation is freaking rad. So yeah, there's the side-by-side comparison. You can see Heatboys is quite a bit bigger, and the lingjihun are already Freako Turtles. But they're both fun figures. You can have them dueling out, like kind of like a little brother, bigger brother. Maybe it's like a super mutagen ooze guy. I don't know, but it's super interesting to have both turtles and see which one you like. Let me know in the comments, which one do you prefer? I think it's a fairly even split, but Heatboys definitely wins far and away with the articulation. So let's go here and see what exactly makes the articulation tick for him, right? Let's take out this sword. I love the freaking slashy effect, by the way. That's so freaking cool. Okay, so the biggest thing, right, is these revoltech style chest joints, where they put the butterfly articulation over the chest, right? So you can just get like a much deeper crossover like that. And that's where you're getting very natural, very easy, like immediate, even without even like engaging the arms. The arms are straight and he's still like kicking in right over there, right? So that's the part you have with that. This one doesn't go up or down. It's just going like the forward thing. The shell, I don't really find any utility in this. I mean, I guess as I've been posing it around, it is really nice that the shell can, like, move and get out of the way, right? But, you know, your mileage there may vary. The revoltech shoulders, that's going to be a big controversial part. I don't know if the shoulders need to be that complicated. I'll be honest, and I don't really like this connection. It's like it's like a ball peg in there. And so it's quite gappy. You can do some pretty cool stuff with it, right? Like, I don't know how many turtles can do over their head just like that. But it does always make me nervous because I'm very worried about, like, shearing off that peg. But yeah, that's the point of the articulation that a lot of folks aren't going to like. It's kind of an ugly eyesore, but as I've been getting into it, I don't mind it at all. The neck range, he can look literally straight down. And then he can look up. You know, this is kind of a common thing. Like, most figures can't look up super well. There is more like range in the neck, right? But there's that. One interesting thing, and this is where, you know, it's almost like a default jerk-off motion, like the way the bicep cut goes, it's angled. So really, instead of having to engage the arm, if you want like a different arm look, you can just do that, right? Or engage the shoulder, I mean. So that's very interesting how it twists up. It unlocks different things. The double jointed elbows. Again, that's the kind of thing like on a lingjihun, and most turtles, you know, maybe the Mezco can do it, but unless it's sculpted just right, you're only getting about that much. The Heatboys, he's going all the way, right? Because they have the elbows, but there's also some like forearm stuff, so you can twist that around. The hands are a standard like ball peg thing. They swap on and off really easy. I do fear the little that half tab there, but this construction really solid. It's not popping apart. It's not no mondo. So yeah, the arms I think are pretty good. The waist crunch, like, he has fantastic back bend. Fairly okay crunch, you know, like, I don't know how much I expect for a turtle. The belt, he does kind of hit into the belt, but it's really not going much further than that anyway, and you're going side to side. You can twist them all around. So, like, you can do some really cool freaking stuff, right? The legs. There's that skirt coming all the fucking way off. One clear winner, they did, like, butt flaps, right? Because, like, the articulation here, you can get into some, like, pretty dicey spots with how it works. I like that they included butt flaps, so you're always having a butt no matter what you're going on. Like, the lingjihun, you can end up with, like, the gappiness, right? So instead of having, like, a solidified, locked-in butt, that's where there's no gaps because this piece just slides down. Now, it does make it tricky as you're, like, kicking the legs around and whatnot. There's all kinds of shit going on because there's, like, it's like a ball peg on the thigh. So you're getting kind of, like, extra range there. But, like, so you can easily... Hold on, let me pay attention to what the fuck I'm doing. Do some pretty nice splits, and, like, this is where maybe the legs are kind of, like, too overcomplicated, perhaps. But, damn, they worked a lot in there, and the little, like, butt flap is very interesting. But as far as the kick goes, when he's kicking forward, there is still, like, a hard plastron, and there's no drop-down hips, so you're just getting a kick like that, right? But you're kicking back really good. And again, those knees, even before you engage the freaking, like, shin thing, the knees or the thigh, whatever, that's, like, kicking all the way. And then, of course, you have like the little shin thing. Super interesting. It can twist around. So again, I'm super excited to see, like, what all you, like, crazy freaking posers will be able to do. You know, just, like, I assume some pretty, like, wild stuff. Like, it's a cool figure, and then he has, like, the ankles are really interesting, because it's like it's a standard kind of thing, but because it's on another ball peg there's almost like a drop-down ankle thing. So you can do some crazy shit, and then you have the double twinkle toes, you know, you can... Like, it's just freaking cool. And that's where you're doing, like, crazy crunching. You're doing, like, one foot is like this, you know. and while one foot is like all the way splayed and then on the toes. So the articulation on this guy, I think it absolutely does deliver, except for the crunch might just be less than people were hoping for, but I think it's damn good on the articulation, and it's also smooth. It doesn't feel like rickety or shitty. Even like, I'm a manhandler, you know, like, say what you will, I've manhandled the shit out of the various parts that can come unglued, but everything I've done, like, it might get a little loose in spots, but I don't know. I really love the articulation on this guy. So that's where it's quite a mixed bag. Problems galore, all kinds of fucking wackadoo glue shit. But overall, I think they gave us a goddamn like a goddamn good turtle figure. So yeah, I think it's worth the $160. I'll be honest, I'll be direct. You shouldn't have to glue your shit, you know, like that shouldn't be a thing that people have to do at all. But overall, massive flaws aside, I don't regret this purchase. I hope they can address some things for Mikey. But yeah, I mean, this is a fucking good figure. Warts and all, I do like this fucking figure. Let me know what you think in the comments, you know. I know a lot of people don't need this level of articulation, but I think it's fucking cool to have a company going for it. Now, stick around if folks want to see. I'll do a full accessory breakdown so you can see exactly what comes in the package. Otherwise, thanks for joining me, and, you know, sound off. Who's your favorite turtle? Which is the best? This is, at these days, this is like $130. The prices have shot up. The stock is shitty. $160 for this guy, and again, like, he has like his various different looks and shit. Like, as you've seen, the way this works is just kind of like a peg in the circle. So there's still a ton more I could do about this guy, but it's a wild figure. But yeah, let me know. And for the rest of you, if you want like a long breakdown of the accessories, stay on by, and we'll go over them. Whew, what a lot of figure. Right now, we can let our hair down. Let's unbox this baby. I've always liked the Heatboys, like, packaging experience. This is where they do make everything really nice and premium. You got, like, the wrap on the thing. This one, interestingly, I did get the Deluxe, right? So it basically includes the standard, and then it has, like, the Deluxe accessories. And it's wrapped with this very cool, very interesting, like, backdrop. See, there's the box for the Deluxe portion, right? That has, like, the skateboard and stuff. So if you just got the standard, I guess you don't get the cool, like, backdrop piece here, which is a shame, because this is cool. And I didn't use it a ton in this video, I know, because, you know, I didn't want to make, like, a video like, oh, here's, like, a flat... Like I was saying earlier, action figure video content is, like, so much just, like, a flashy free ad. But I think that's cool. I think it's super cool that you get, like, a diorama backdrop. And then it's covered in tape. The tape smells terrible, by the way. I don't know what it is about overseas tape. Just kind of freaking awful. Kind of freaking bad. Like, I'm pretty sure in the course of filming all of this, I've gotten various contact ties. So there's your two boxes, right? Those are nice. Looking good. The first box here. This is the standard box, so if you just ordered standard Leo, you'll get just this, it looks like, right? You get the tray system, there's instructions, right? They give you a nice little... I love that Heatboys does this. They give you, like, a parts breakdown. They show you, you know, what to do with the various things, even though we've gone over. That's a freaking nightmare. Trays. You get two trays here. There's the top tray with Leo, of course, and then there's the bottom tray with his hands and the weapons and whatnot. So let's crack open the first tray, right? So here we go. Interesting layout, how they jammed things in there. And again, they put Leo in, like, the freaking bag thing, right? Heatboys, that's where, like, the QC stuff is odd to me, right? Because they put such care into things. Like, they put him in this body bag, which, it's creepy, it's weird, but the figure, he looks stellar. I know people hate the shoulders. There's, like, the scoot thing. Look at that. Like, I did a full Townsend. This is where, like, as I messed with him before, I'm pretty confident I'm not going to snap that peg thing. But, like, the joint is weird. That's why I don't like the kind of over complicated revoltech joint things, because I'm not really sure exactly what the hell is actually going on, if that makes sense. And you can see it's like a double ball peg in there, so that's how you can collapse the shoulders together. And then here's the cool, it's a jerk off motion. That's, if anything is a jerk off motion, it's 100% that, right? Like, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I don't make this. I don't make the rules. It's what the figure is. Okay. So yeah, he's a cool figure. There's the butterfly stuff. Pretty nutty. And I think it's worth going over again. The butt flaps are cool. This is the butt flap technology. Look, say what you will about this figure, but like the butt is good, and doing butt flaps, that's a nice addition. Okay, butt flaps maybe redeem the whole thing. But okay, we'll go back to the normal accessories. Here's the dreaded harness. This is the harness in its original state. This was after me noodling with it a little bit, but you can see it very early on, this shit came off immediately. I've heard people struggling with it. There's the glob shit. Again, hit up the after sales if yours is really jacked up like that. And then you have the grappling hook. Grappling hooks are cool. Being on a string, it's really hard to effectively use it in a pose. I'd have to use like multiple stands and whatnot, but you get a nice long wire, you get a nice long thing. These just peg onto the back shell. It's a shallow peg. It's fine, it's okay. And then you have the turtle comm, which it's in the package, right? Like it's stuck on in there. The turtle comm stuff, I'll be honest, I don't know if I need turtle comms, but I will say this one, the image of April on the inside, it's done very well. It's very visible. It must be like an actual sticker. So the antennas burst out. This is a really well done turtle comm. I'll give it up, right? Like, it's cool. It's cool. Then you get into the stupid head. Again, the tray. This is why you don't need ties. Other companies, you can do a D-bass tray, and that shit, it's hard to get out of there. But there's Leo. There's that's a good head. I love the details, the painting. We saw about the head construction. That's another thing. Here is the bonus pre-order head. They kind of put it in there like creeper style. So depending when you order, you may not get this head. The mask head. It's a cool look. I'm not going to lie. Like his like crazy, it's like a steampunk feudal samurai. I think it's dope. I think they nailed it. I'm glad I have it. Is it worth, like, rushing to pre-order in the first couple of days? I mean, I don't know. Let me know in the comments, how do you feel about the heads? Like, the upcoming Mikey head, I don't think is necessarily so super stellar. Here's the bandanas. You get two. Kind of a different look. One more straighty, one little bendy. The pegs, god-awful. One of my least favorite bandanas anybody has ever done. So here you get like a whole mess of hands. You get the weapons. So let's crack this open. My phone is getting hot and it's kind of burning my thumb as I'm holding the record. And yeah, I do everything on my phone. Believe it or not. They tape it in there. Again, you don't need ties. You can do a tray, and then you can do a cover over the tray, right? And this one even, it like snaps together, so it's like they don't even really need to tape it, if we're being honest. But I'm trying to like crack it open without spilling everything everywhere, right? So you get the cool slashy effect. It's a little bit bendy, so it's not gonna like snap and break. Very well done there. You get the two scabbards, which are painted pretty well, pretty nicely. Little, like, wash, and the swords are right in there. Like, look at the details on the scabbards. I like these. These are pretty slick. These are pretty cool. I don't really have any issue with, like, the paint or anything on this. I think the swords look great. They're not metal. They have some bend to them. They're super cool. It can be a little tricky. Yeah, the slashy effect goes on the inside of the sword, because that's where it's kind of curved. As you work it, you could see in my review I didn't really have trouble putting it on there, but the first time it wasn't like quite loosened up yet. So, you can adjust, and maybe it looks cooler hanging off the edge there. But really well done. I think the swords are quite nice. The wakizashi, that has its own little scabbard thing. You put that in there. Pretty sick, pretty cool. The detail on like the hilts and stuff is done really well. Also a little bendy. You have the pizza. The pizza. Look, it's interesting to like see how they do the pizza, right? You have like the pepperoni with some seasoning, a mushroom. There's apparently cheese on the bottom. This is just like the cheesiest pizza. It's an okay pizza slice. The kunai, or the throwing knives, I think they're kunai. I've heard these have been poking people and cutting people, so be really careful with these things, right? But again, very well detailed. I think they're cool. I think they're dope. They are pretty sharp. And then we get into the whole freaking mess of hands. So we start off, fucking hands, little grippy hands. These are hands they grip, you know. And then you have, what are these hands? Kind of less grippy hands, kind of like pensive, thoughtful, I'm about to grab something hands. Then you get more grippy hands. I don't quite know the difference. Maybe it's like a looser grip for the bigger sword coming up or something. And then here's two kind of wacha splayed hands. I'm kind of doing a kung fu pose hands. Pretty nicely detailed. You have these two hands, which are, they're more kung fu hands. Kind of like I'm working on arthritis in my fingers hands. And then these hands are very interesting. These are grab your scabbard hands. Like, they kind of give like a weird freaky look without them, but they're meant to clasp around the scabbard. And I like that they threw that in, right? You're doing like the Zorro kind of pulling my sword from the samurai sheath kind of fucking hands, right? And then we're on to the deluxe box, right? So those of you who purchased the deluxe, you get all these extra goodies. Let me know in the comments how many folks went with standard and weren't swayed by the deluxe package. I mean, for me, it's like, if you're going to do it, you might as well go all the way. So again, you have like the breakdown of stuff, how things work, the stand. We know that's a goddamn nightmare. I'll never forgive them for how shitty they made the stand. But here's the first tray, and usually I like to set up the stand first. That's how we like to do it here. So you have the big old Buster sword, you know, Cloud Strife Leonardo, which I think looks sick. I think looks very, very freaking cool, right? And then it's again taped. I just, every time I do a tray system, I just think of companies like NECA who use the ties. And it's like, you don't need the ties, folks. You don't need the ties. So this stand is really cool. It has a nice detail. It's metallic. The logo. I don't know why they're going for like a 2012 logo. It magnets to the figure, which is really cool. It's not a super, super strong thing, but it kind of works about as sturdy as like a peg stand, right? So for most normal poses, between the weight and the balance and the metal stand, it's a pretty secure stand. Though if something tips over, it's not going to save it. You have the big Buster sword. Again, it has some give. It's not heavy, which is nice because in all my posings, he had no trouble holding up any of the weapons. Here's the bendy neck, the gooseneck kind of thing. This thing is sturdy as fuck, right? Like, that's a big, thick thing. But then it's puzzling why they included such a shitty base for it. And then, like, pretty crappy grabby arms. You can tighten all the screws. You can make it work, like, a lot better. But it's like... and I guess they intended, like, oh, you can connect the turtles' stands together or whatever. Just give me a good fucking stand. Like, whatever they were going for here, I think is a failure, right? So it's like, this is where, again, you could clip Leo's stand to Mikey's. And I guess that's cool. But it's such a flimsy bullshit connection. Like, I hate it. But the worst part is you have the stand piece here where it secures to this fine, but then your connection, again, all the way to the figure, everything is on a shitty little thing. So anytime the figure moves around, guess what comes apart? The little connection at the stand. So it sucks. And then again, this, like, it baffles me, right? Like, and they've made good stands with the mechs. Like, they know how to do this shit. They know what's better. This just sucks. Like, yes, tighten the screws super tight, and it'll make it work, as I've shown. But now we're on to the rest. We have, you know, the cheapskate or rocket board, whatever the fuck, you know, it's again taped in there. The tape. Somebody tell me why overseas tape is so terrible. It's good tape. It works really good, but it's like yellowy and weird, and it smells weird. Here's his scarf. Kind of controversial, not doing a fabric scarf. Other than like the neck part, I wish the neck part was like more bendy because it kind of gets in the way as you're trying to do it. But I like the scarf. The hat, you know, the magnetic hat, very well done, very cool. And it attaches all the heads have a magnet in there. And it's a good strong magnet, you know? Like it works. It works great. Here's this head. I think there was something with like the teeth not getting like a proper wash, right? But all the heads, the magnet, and it holds on there really strongly. That's super cool. You do get 2 extra hands. I guess are these like skateboardy hands? I guess that's like doing like a skateboard trick. I don't know. I'm not a skateboarder. You get the flames. There's the flames there, right? Flaming it up, flame on, and here's the skateboard. It looks nice. It's kind of rickety and cheap feeling. The wheels do spin, but if you were hoping for like a cool metal skateboard or something, like I think it works fine enough. But you know, your mileage may vary. It has magnets. I don't think I quite figured it out here, but like the magnets, they're only over the trunks. What's the anatomy of the skateboard? So here's me just being dumb. Trying to figure it out, but it's a solid magnetic connection. Like he can, if you hook it up right, he can do 1 foot on the skateboard. So that's pretty dope. That's me being dumb. I'm just like, how do magnets work? But you know, there we go. Now I'm like, oh, okay. It's not in the middle. It would be cool if the whole board was magnetic, you know. But I get it. But there you go. That's how that works. And obviously, like we found out, the top part comes unglued. But otherwise, I think they made a good choice with the board being as light as it is. It does help for posing and stuff in the air. But yeah, there you go. And then at the very end, the size comparison. This is a giant Frico turtle. He's almost just shy of 8 inches, right? So he's well past any kind of 1/12 area. He's towering over Mezco. So you could make this fit, I guess, if you like giant Frico Bay turtles, but it's not a 1/12 scale figure by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, and here we go. Now we're really wrapping things up. Overall, banger figure. Still a banger figure. That backdrop, what a cool backdrop. Tons of issues, right? Cringe-worthy, heartbreaking issues. It's going to be a deal breaker for a lot of folks. I get it. Crying to the heavens. Why did they use such bad glue? I don't know. It's baffling, to be quite honest. But you can do cool stuff. Like here's a scabbard hold. Look at that. Look at him. Look at the holdy scabbard hands. They're kind of big and creepy, but I like them. And like, look. I like the scabbard hands to do like a hat nod thing. Like it's a cool look. They give you quite a ton of crap. So that's why like the 160 value, I think it's there. Leo with a Buster Sword. Final Fantasy Leo. Come on. You can't look at like however you feel about this figure, you can't look at this and not tell me, okay, that's cool. That's super cool. That's super rad. Look at him spinning around. And sure, does it have issues as he falls off the stand? Yeah, but come on. And this is where I'm talking like you can use the magnetic base as a pretty good stand. Like it's a pretty good anchor, all things considered, as long as you don't push it too much. And this is where like I mixed the grabby arm with the stand to help with the balance even more. But it's cool. It's a cool thing. Buster Sword Leo, the Scarfy Leo, and I'll stand by. I like the way they did the scarf. I like it. Right. But yeah, this is just a highlight reel. Just me enjoying. After you go through all this shit with a figure, there's such a weird mix of emotions. It is fun to look back and be like, okay, yeah, this is why we do this. This is why we do this kind of thing. Right? Like, I mean, a big old freaking Leo, super articulated. Maybe more than anybody needs, but he can do some wild stuff. The slashy stuff. this slashy things, I tried to do, I'll be honest, a horror pose for folks, but Heatboys, warts and all, they make some of my favorite figures. So hopefully this is just like a learning curve for them and they can adjust. But thanks for watching as always. Take care of yourselves. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.